Hello everyone, it's Diane. I am gathering materials to start my next set of journals. I don't know, I'll take my time with these because I have lots of other things to do in between, like putting things in my shop from the flea markets, kind of tidying up things better so I'm not working in a mess, etc., and scanning more things in. These are the 3 vintage book covers I told you in the previous video that I was going to use. I scanned these 3 covers, and whatever illustrations might have been in them, I cut them and scanned them also, so I might be doing some digitals with those. If you're interested in them, I would appreciate it if you'd let me know if it's something worth me working on. So these books are so gorgeous. They all have a pretty lady on the front. This one is called Nedra. She looks so regal. These are old books from the early 1900s, so they are scuffed. There's a little mark where some of the color came off. And this is a Harrison Fisher illustration. And some of the pictures, there were pictures inside that I scanned, and I left them in the other room where I scanned them, so I can't show them to you, but I'll be using those in the book. And here's another Harrison Fisher, and this one didn't have pictures. It had one, I don't think, maybe, I don't remember now, but this one is called Half a Rogue, and it's Harrison Fisher. I recognize his signature there, plus I recognize his style. And this one is called Marcia Drayton, and she looks like a young girl. It's just so sweet. So those are the books I'm going to use. They're all pretty much the same size. Now, I have told you that I want to do fewer digitals, and yet you're seeing a lot of digitals in my journals, and you're going to keep seeing a lot of digitals in my journals. But that's because I purchased a lot of digitals that I haven't used yet, and I am going to use them. So I want to kind of alternate between a book with digitals, and what I want to do is focus more on books that just use found items, vintage items, things like that. Book pages, scrapbook paper even I'll use, and coffee dyed paper. And I do love the digitals, so I'm not going to shut them out of my life. But you may be confused because I did say in the past that I wanted to use fewer, but I seem to be using more. I guess I'm just kind of like, I want to not use up because I can keep using them over and over, but I want to make sure I use the ones that I bought. So I decided for these that I'm going to use a kit that I've had called Cottage Lane, and I actually bought volumes 1 and 2, and it's by Nectar's Creations. I probably saw a journal that someone had made with this kit, and I loved it. It's got the cottage in it, which I love, thatched roof cottage, and the pretty florals and the colors. It is a beautiful kit. So I probably saw a journal that someone made with it and decided I needed to have that, so I bought both volumes of it. So I did have to cut the paper a little bit, trim the, I don't think I trimmed the top and bottom of this one, but I had to trim off some of this part. I folded it in half and then trimmed the edge off so that the fold would still be in the middle. Look at that beautiful cottage image. There are 3 pages with a cottage image, so each journal gets 1 of those pages. Another kit that I'm using is this one from TlcCreatesVintage, and I think it's called Vintage Book Pages. And so they do look like worn and torn book pages. And again, I had to trim off all the edges of these because they were a little bigger, but you could still see some of the tatteredness. And then she just did a really pretty yellow gold design on each page, and there's I don't know how many different pages, but I had enough between this kit and this kit to put 3 signatures in each, no, 3 pages in each signature in 3 books. That's 27 pages between these 2 kits. It's actually 3 because I have 2 of that one. So that's what I did. I've already trimmed them and divided them up between the books. There are also 3 pages of ephemera with each of the Cottage Lane kits. So I have 5 pages. I already cut one. I mean 6 pages. And I already started cutting one, but there's envelopes, tags, journal cards, ephemera bits. And I can divide them up between the 3 books because I'm using another kit. I have a lot of Mrs. Cog's kits. She puts them on sale. I can't help it. And I just love the vintage images that she uses. So I got another one. I printed this one, and I'll divide this one up because these are Harrison Fisher type illustrations. Some of them might be him, but this one looks like it could be. Nope, it's not. So these are Sunday magazine covers. That's a set in Mrs. Cog's shop. So I have plenty of ephemera to go around. So now I'm trying to decide. I want to use a lot of vintage stuff in these books. So I pulled out vintage stationery and envelopes. So I'm going to go through these and decide which ones I want to use. Now the journal kits are kind of a peach and green are the predominant features or colors, and then those are gold. And I didn't print anything on the backs of the Cottage Lane, but I had printed these on the coffee dye, or yeah, there's some of them are coffee dyed, and this one is avocado dyed doily paper from Tailor Made Journals. I have a lot of different ephemera digitals in here. So I need gold and peach and green colors. So I pulled this one. This is a textured stationery with an embossed daisy, and there are 3. So each journal can have one of those. I need 3 sheets of stationery for each journal so that each signature can have a sheet. I have this. I have quite a few of these, so I'll use those. I'll have to trim them. They're a little bit long, I think. Or maybe just fold in one flap. And I have these, they're just plain with a scalloped edge. Or I had pulled these out. So these are folded. They're kind of a little bit shiny, but they're so pretty. I think I'm going to save these for a bigger journal because I think they're a little tall. Let me see, where's my book cover? Oh no, they'd fit. Well, I'm just going to go with these scalloped ones because they're pretty. Okay, so that's the stationery. Now I need some envelopes. I have vintage stationery envelopes. I don't know if I brought enough in. So these I know I want for sure because they're kind of a peachy color. And I have one for each journal. And I have these with a decal edge, one for each journal. And then I have these 2, and apparently I need another. Actually, there are envelopes in the kit. I could just tuck them in. I think the other page that I started to cut is out in the living room. So if I want to, I can go grab another envelope from my vintage stationery. Close this book up so I don't mess up those pages. Okay, so now we have stationery and envelopes. I brought in 3 of these vintage ledger pages. I don't know how old they are. I don't think they're extremely vintage, but they're not new. And I brought in 3 for each book. And I got these out of a large songbook that someone had sent me. It's a gorgeous songbook. And these pages are way too big for these little books, but I will have to cut them down. This book has some really nice black and white reproductions of the sheet music for these songs. And it's, I think, a 1970 something book, so it's nothing I can scan. And I got some coffee dyed paper. Maybe I'll put 2 in each signature. It's a dark one. And I don't know if I'll use these as a page. These are tracing paper. They're kind of crispy. I might just make decorations with them. But I'll put a couple. I'll get out a couple for each book. Alright. So I have all that, plus my ephemera and my Mrs. Coggs. Now I got a fan on, can you tell? I'm going to look through some vintage ephemera that I brought in and select some pieces that maybe I'll use. This one has its pages, this one has its pages, but this one doesn't. I think I took them out when I scanned the book cover in and didn't put them back. Alright. So I have this I brought in a little set of plastic drawers. And this little drawer is labeled Vintage Cards and Viewmaster. So I don't want to use the Viewmaster in these journals. Let's just see what kind of vintage cards I have. I don't think these are what I want. This one's pretty. That one's pretty. These are reproductions of 1898 calendar, but they're new. But they're pretty. That one's sweet. 1948 calendar. I pulled a few cards out. I also have a drawer that says miscellaneous vintage. It's getting full, so hopefully I can pull some stuff out of it. And got some vintage labels. I'll put them in my label drawer. That's a scrap from a 1930s stationery sheet. Could work. Barbie and Ken, I don't think so. This is a drawing that I found in an old pack of papers in an antique store. So you see why I want to focus on making journals with found things. I want to use some of these vintage items. I could use them in anything, you know. I don't have to be so themey. This is cute. It's a little cardstock fan. Cigarette card. I have another drawer of cigarette cards that belongs in there. Oh, these are transparent index tabs. No, they're not right for this. They'll be fun in something, though. These are reproductions, but maybe a couple of these pictures would be cute in these journals if I decide to use them. I bought these wonderful pieces. They were used in a school. I don't know, I think of home ec, but maybe it was health and science class or health class or something. And I bought these from, maybe it was the Paper Basket on Etsy, and I haven't used them. I am hoarding them because they are so cute, but I will use them. I'm going to make a special journal for them. All right, I didn't get much out of that little drawer. And that's all I brought in with me. Okay, so I'll just put these in one of my little drawers over here. These drawers are for the ephemera that I'm using in the current journal project. So I'm going to see how I'm doing with pages, numbers of pages. So I have 3 of the digitals in each signature. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This only has 2. 6, 7, 8. Oh, there it is. I have 8 pages. I don't think I'll use this as a page. I think I'll just use that for making ephemera embellishments. So I'll probably add another page or 2 to the collection. I'm not going to cut these papers right now because you've seen me cut papers enough. And maybe I'll find a book I can take book pages from. In fact, I'll be right back. I have this book, the Illuminated Book of Days. I think somebody sent this to me. And I do want to make a Kate Greenaway book pretty soon. Kate Greenaway journal, but I can use some of these pages. So let's do that. I'm just trying to find the center of a signature. See if it's one I can snip threads on. No, they're glued in. I'm not going to take the large color plates because I want to use those in a bigger book. That's 6. I need 3 more. As soon as I said that, I forgot. Was that 6 or 7 that I just did? Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got an extra one. Alright, so now I have 9 pages for each book, or each signature. And I'll put an envelope in the middle. So I think we're good. I should have planned a project to make ephemera with. Let's see what I can do with one of these. Alright, I have an idea. These are the envelopes for one of the books. Let's see if I can carefully open it. That one opened pretty easily. And that one opened nicely. Being a little more difficult, but it's going to be all right. Okay, now I have 3 open envelopes and I can decorate the backs. They will go in the signature like this, so it will be this orientation in the book. So I will select picture for each envelope. And I can decorate it with some vintage book page. I'll turn that fan a little bit. Finding some good book pages, I hope. Hear my closet door squeaking shut. Okay, so I grabbed some vintage dictionary illustrations, so maybe I can find a harp would be nice. Bird would be nice. There's a lady spinning. This is from a book about tatting. So, this pair of shoes. And I brought over some furniture pages. They might be cute. Furniture and glassware. And I just grabbed this. I didn't know if there was anything that I would want out of this. I was just trying to grab stuff that I could see quickly, so I wasn't leaving you hanging. Any of these would be nice. I'm going to put this in my seashell, my seashore pile, and my rabbit pile. Okay. I guess I've got enough to choose from. Okay, I like this tatting. I think I'll just cut that out. You hear the birds and the trees outside. They're getting a little loud. It's breezy. It's cooler today than it has been. It was pretty hot the last few days. And it's breezy, so I have my window open. Get the definition of the distaff, because she's using a distaff in her spinning. This is out of a book about probably the 1890s, something like that. So it was just, they had images of advertisements. Just going to take a random piece of this dictionary page. Okay, I think we're going to do that, and I want to add a little, sorry, a little color with something. There is some color in the magazine cover images, but I need to add a little something else. You know, me and my doilies. I like to use doily pieces. That's a good color for the peach and green journal kit. All right, I'm going to ink and glue. First, I'm going to ink an envelope. Book page here I can use. Some of these edges won't show, but I guess I'll be thorough. The ink won't stick to the glue there. Inking yet. My son went to Lowe's. I met him at Lowe's yesterday, and he helped me select a lawnmower that I could actually use. I can't pull the cord. Even when I was younger, I couldn't do that very well, and I never, because I don't mow the lawn, I never had to. My brother and my dad did it when I was growing up, and my husband did it. And even when I tried to, when we were still married, when I was still young, I couldn't pull the cord. Very rarely could I get it. But now I have a bad shoulder, so I certainly can't pull the cord. So anyway, my son helped me pick one out that is battery operated and has a button. I just push the button and pull the bar back, and it goes. And I don't have a very big lawn here, so they just planted grass this spring. How did I have this? Had that peeking out a little bit like that. Okay. So, I was able to mow my lawn all by myself. Today would have been my 43rd wedding anniversary. And I thought about that while I was mowing my lawn this morning. I would have been would have been my 43rd anniversary, and I am proving my independence now by being able to mow my own lawn at 62 years old. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? Yep, she did it upside down. Yesterday I was sewing the strawberry journals together, and the very last signature I put in upside down. And I sewed buttons on the spine too, so of course the buttons were upside down. So I just had to take it all apart, just that one signature, and do it again. Yep. Okay, one envelope done. My battery light is flashing. I'll do one more. The wind blew this stuff around. I don't remember what went on what envelope, but we'll figure something out. Did I say the wind? The fan. Even though it's cooler, my house is still hot and it feels humid. My big old houses, I've always lived in a big old house, even growing up. And, well, when I first got married, we lived in a really, really, really hot little apartment. But we lived there for 2 or 3 years. And then we got a big old house. And I've lived in a big old house, just except for that small newlywed period. And they're cold. Those houses are cold, but they stay cool in the summer, at least for a while. You know, they still get hot, but anyway, this house is not like that. It's just a little double wide, and it gets hot. But I am grateful for it, and I like it. I'm not sure I like that piece. I think it's a little too cumbersome there. So I just need some text that doesn't really mean anything. I was wondering what that noise is behind me, and it must be the breeze coming through the window going into the fan. Got this little scrap I can tuck in right there. I think that helps. Put that on first. I hope that sound isn't too much in the microphone. I'll have to listen to it before I upload it. If it sounds too bad, I just won't upload it. I don't like listening to videos that have terrible sound. There's one lady that I like her videos, but she has a bird in a cage or something in the same room where she videos, and it hurts my ears. So I don't watch for very long if I watch. I don't think that's quite the way I arranged it, but that's what we're going to go with, because I think this might have been down a little lower, but I don't remember. I'm gluing on my inking page. And I have one more envelope to do, and then this is just for one of the books. I'm doing 3 books. There, 2 down. 7 to go. But they're fun. They don't take too long. I'm going to stop here before the battery stops. Actually, I have this rose stamp out, so I'm just going to glue that on that side, just for something pretty. So I hope that you're looking forward to seeing how these vintage book cover books come together. They will be called by the names. This one is Marcia, this one is Nedra, and this one I have her name on the picture. It has her name on it, so I'll call her whatever that name is because I can't remember. And these are not going to be reserved. I'm just going to put these in my shop because I've been reserving journals, and I don't want to reserve all the journals. I want to be able to just put some in the shop. Alright, so I had fun playing around with these, and now I've got some cleaning to do, so I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.